Greetings, loves. It is I, Tactical Girlfriend. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's doing well. A lot of us carry a lot of supporting gear to keep our guns running at the range. That can be a number of things between all your magazines, your support equipment for medical, extra gear that might be necessary to maintain your weapons, help you load weapons, any other gear that just might help you in your environment. There's a lot of things, but basically today I want to talk about what is in my admin pouch, and this is just kind of a look into what I personally carry to support my equipment. These are just extra little bits and bobs that I have sprinkled in throughout my kit that do make everything a lot easier, more convenient, and just generally more sustainable. So everyone's kits are always going to look different. This is just mine. It's just food for thought, and I do think it's a little interesting, and I've gotten a lot of questions about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, switching views here. This is my Haley Strategic D3 CRM Micro Chest Rig. This is obviously a chest rig, but it's also my placard that I keep on my plate carrier. It's basically always on my gear, and thus it's also a great way to keep administrative gear on me because it's got an admin pouch right in front. Now, before we get into that part, let me just highlight a few things on the exterior here. First of all, I have a multi-tool in this pistol mag holder, and this is the Leatherman Skeletool CX. It's got some nice wire cutters, it's got good pliers, it's got some bits for screwdrivers as well as a blade. I'm sorry, my cat is going crazy right now. And yeah, that's basically all I really need at the range. It's really good to have a multi-tool at hand. It's incredibly useful, but you don't really need much on it other than those bits. You can get more advanced multi-tools out there that have way more bells and whistles, but honestly, this is all I really need. Now, moving on to this side, I also have an extraction tool. Now, the extraction tool that I'm using here is actually just a paint can opener, and this is just to have at hand if there's a stuck casing in my chamber. I can easily peel it out by using the little claw end of this, and I have it tethered on here with some cordage so I don't lose it. Okay, from here, let's open the admin pouch. Now, the first bit of kit you're going to notice is my lens cloth. This is made by a company called Spuds. It's just a really nifty and handy lens cloth that you can just stuff into a nice little tight container like this bag and stow it wherever you need to. Honestly, I think that's an absolute must if you're running optics. It just absolutely is part of maintaining optics. It's part of being able to see through optics, because if you're really pushing yourself in the elements there, you're definitely going to get stuff on it. So it's good to keep that stuff clean. Then, from there, I have a whistle. This is kind of a very loud whistle. It's really just great for signaling. If you need to get somebody's attention for whatever reason, you can use this to issue and execute an order or command, whatever. It's just really nice to have a whistle and be able to signal using something other than just your voice and be heard from a longer distance. Over here, I have a bunch of batteries. Now, this may look like a big hodgepodge of random batteries, but I assure you, every single battery here does serve a purpose. There is a redundancy with every single bit of gear that I have that takes batteries, and there's a battery for every single item. So basically, I do keep a lot of extra spare batteries in my AR, pistol grips, and stuff like that, whatever is necessary to support that rifle, but I also like having additional batteries here, and other gear that I use besides my rifle also takes batteries. So anyway, there's just a big old wad of batteries. I could probably find a better storage solution, and I probably will be looking for one, but right now they just kind of live like that. Moving on, over here I have some electrical tape. Electrical tape is really useful to have. It's fairly weatherproof. It binds to all sorts of things, and if you need to repair something in the field or stick anything together for whatever reason, electrical tape absolutely will do the trick. You can carry things like duct tape, and that's fine. This just comes in a nicer form factor. It's smaller, it's convenient, and I can put it right back into my admin pouch. Just like that. And moving on to the last section here, I have a Baofeng radio battery. I run the Baofeng BF F8HP. You could also run the UV5R if you're so inclined, but basically I just carry a spare battery because I'm carrying a radio on my kit and I want to keep it running. You should always carry redundant batteries for every piece of electronic gear that you carry in your kit, no exceptions, so this is very crucial. Okay, I tricked y'all. I said I was talking about what's in my admin pouch. Just kidding, I have more administrative gear in my backpack. I do feel like it's relevant and I do want to talk about that just because I get a lot of questions about it, so I figured this is more support gear. Yes, it's not in my admin pouch, it is still, to me, administrative gear, so I'm going to review that. But this is my Tasmanian Tiger Essential 15-liter Mark II backpack. And on the outside here, let's start there. First of all, again, I got more electrical tape. This is just at hand. It's honestly really handy having on the exterior of my backpack behind me because a lot of other people have often needed my electrical tape in the field, which is honestly a good hint for y'all to start carrying it. But basically, they can just peel pieces off from my back whenever they need to, and that actually happens pretty often, you'd be surprised. From there, I also have this little survival bracelet, paracord survival bracelet. I don't really want to wear it. It's kind of silly, it doesn't need to be on my wrist. It does have a compass, it's got, of course, paracord, it's got a can opener, it's got a ferrous rod, it's got inside of it some sort of little fishing kit that I've never taken apart and used. Because I don't really care and I don't fish, but basically I mostly just have this because the compass is really nice to have. It's good to always have at least 2 compasses in your kit, honestly. This one is just my bare bones basic orienting compass. It's not used for any precise, navigation or map usage, but it's a Sunto compass, it works great, and it gets the job done. Now, on the side of this backpack here, I have my Ontario SK5 survival knife. This knife is, again, just a survival knife. It's not for combat or anything like that. I don't advocate using knives for combat. I think it's honestly a horrible idea and it's a great way to get yourself stabbed. But anyway, it's not like I'm ever planning to use this for self-defense. This is just a great camping knife, honestly. And I've used it in the field, in the wilderness, many times to split wood and make a fire, so really great for that. Flipping this around here, I have my night vision pouch on the side of my backpack. Now, that's not really administrative gear per se. I consider my PVS-14 a pretty essential piece of kit, actually. Not so much support gear, but there is support gear that comes with it. Take the PVS-14 out, and here I have a compass that you can actually attached to the PVS-14, shows you a compass reading while you're looking through it. Just simply press the bottom of this to illuminate it. It's great, again, to orient yourself. This is by no means a navigation compass or anything like that, but it is a nice little piece of kit if you do need it. I also have a Unity Tactical Spark. I have a couple of these in here. These are great. They're IR strobes, and they have a bunch of different settings on them, and basically you can peel this backing off, slap it onto the Velcro of your helmet or any other Velcro surface, light up the strobe. Anyone else with night vision can see it. It's great for signaling, anything like that. And I also have my eyepiece for my PVS-14 if I'm trying to be more discreet, keep that blue glow off my face. This is really great to have. And of course, I also have a spare battery. It's always good to have batteries, as I mentioned before. I have spare batteries in my admin pouch for my night vision, but with my night vision I also keep even more. If you got room, just shove more batteries in there, honestly. Moving over to the bottom end of the backpack here, I do have this pouch that you can unzip and have stuff readily accessible. Most importantly, I think having a boo-boo kit is really essential at the range, honestly. You're probably not going to use your IFAK. You should always have an IFAK because an emergency requires emergency attention and equipment. But honestly, most of the things you're going to run into are just boo-boos. You're going to have a little owie in the field. So I have gloves, I have bandages, gauze, painkillers, Neosporin burn cream, super glue if you're feeling really adventurous, and also some moleskin. Great to have in your kit. Honestly, moleskin is going to be one of the most important things for sustainment if you're going on any long hikes. You're probably going to develop blisters at some point, somewhere. You're going to have a lot of gear rubbing up and down on you. Your boots may not fit just right, and you just might wear yourself out. So yeah, definitely recommend having some moleskin with you. Also in here, I carry just a spare lead wipe, just good to have at hand if I'm trying to eat lunch or whatever. Now moving to the interior of the backpack, I have this nice organizer from Tasmanian Tiger. They make that for their backpacks, especially this model, and it's really handy, obviously. I have some nitrile gloves in here. Again, good to have if you just need to like clean something, or if you need more for medical purposes, it's good to have some spares. Also got a permanent marker, I've got a Write in the Rain pen, I've got a Write in the Rain notepad. You can kind of ignore this, this is just a color card for my camera when I'm filming. I also carry some automatic earplugs, great to put under your ear pro if you need to double up. Got my gas mask adapter for my Camelback. And I've also got a chin strap adapter for my helmet if I'm wearing a gas mask. Below that, I also have some AAA batteries. I keep these in here because what I'm about to show you is another thing that I carry in here, and that is going to be, if I can retrieve it, my Princeton Tech headlamp. You know, I think a headlamp is honestly a very essential part of kit. If you are in the dark, you need some sort of light. If you don't have a light on your helmet, which I do, I still like the redundancy of having this. I can put this around my neck too if I want to aim it down and read something a little easier, or just use it as a handheld light. Honestly, when I'm looking through my kit, if I'm looking through my backpack at night, I can just pull this up and shine a light down in there and see what's going on. Also got some spare batteries for it. Moving on down to this compartment, this is for weapon sustainment. In here I have my lubricant. This is the mixture of automotive grease and engine oil that I use on my ARs. It works very well. You can use it on pretty much anything. If you're using it on handguns, you probably should be a bit sparing because it is very viscous, but it is a nice thing to just have in your kit. If your guns get gummed up and need more lube, then that absolutely is going to do the trick. From there, I also have a spare bolt carrier group. If anything does go wrong with one of my bolt carrier groups, then I can just slap this thing in and it's good as new. Things like your extractor, some of the teeth on the bolt itself often shear off, especially if you're running suppressed. Parts just wear a lot faster. It's really good to just have one of the most crucial parts of the AR that often fails and not have a whole little parts bin, but just have an all-in-one so I don't have to think about it. Moving further down here, I have another compartment. This is a lot of random things that are still very useful to have, such as bug spray. Always carry bug spray. I've got some hand warmers. They're also really good. Don't get hypothermia, don't get frostbite, don't lose a toe or a finger. I've also got my lighter wrapped in duct tape. Basically, you can carry duct tape on you. I carry electrical tape again, but having some duct tape is nice, and this is a far more efficient way of storing it rather than just having a giant roll in your backpack taking up so much space. And having lighter obviously is self-explanatory. Start a fire if you need to, light someone's cigarette, make a new friend. I don't know, choose your own adventure. Next, I have an emergency blanket. Don't become a hypothermia casualty. If you are spending extended periods of time outdoors for any reason whatsoever, it's really good to have one of these. They're extremely cheap, they're light, they take up pretty much no space. There's no excuse to not have this in your kit. It is absolutely essential for any medical purposes too. Somebody's going into shock, whatever. You just need to have these. I also have some Noon tablets. You also don't want to become a casualty of heat exhaustion or anything like that. Keep your electrolytes up. You can put this stuff in water, dissolve it, replenish those electrolytes, keep yourself going, keep yourself alive. Also have some face paint. This is military issue, green and loam, so basically a brown and a green. So if you do need to conceal your position for whatever reason. Faces stick out, they're extremely recognizable. You can spot a human face from so far away, it's incredible. So if you do need to be discreet for whatever reason, or you just want to LARP hard, absolutely get some face paint. Finally, there's a few items that I always like to have at the very bottom of my backpack. The first one being a rain cover. This is also by Tasmanian Tiger, and it's just there to keep my backpack dry. This backpack is fairly water resistant, but it's not completely waterproof. This just helps add that layer to it to keep everything inside dry, keep it lightweight and not soaking wet so it's hanging off my back like a wet sponge. And the next thing is a trash bag. I often shoot outdoors. There's casings, there's target detritus, whatever. You always got to clean up after yourself. Never ever leave the range any worse than it was when you arrived. It's the only way we can keep shooting in these beautiful spots outdoors, so absolutely always carry a trash bag with you. Last but not least, in this plastic bag, I have a skivvy roll. So basically, these are just spare socks and underwear. If you're out in the field and it's raining a lot and your socks get soaked through, you're not going to want to keep those on for very long. You will get hypothermia, you will die. Definitely carry some spare socks and underwear. And that wraps up my overview of the supporting gear that I carry in my kit. Again, this is by no means definitive, it's always changing and it's tailored specifically to my needs. That said, I do think it's really interesting, I think it's an often overlooked subject, and I would love to hear more about what everyone else is carrying out there. So if you do want to talk about the stuff that you carry to support your gear in your kit, please feel free to list that below in the comments section, I'd love to hear more about it. Also, if you found this video useful and enjoyed it, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell too. As always, major shout out to everybody who is supporting this channel on Patreon. This channel does not run ads, I do not monetize on YouTube, I honestly don't like YouTube, I'm just stuck here because it's the thing that we have to work with, and that's that. But that said, I do have a Patreon set up to help keep this channel running, and if you do want to help contribute, you can always go to patreon.com/tacticalgf. The biggest contributors are named at the end of the video. And that's a wrap. I really appreciate you all tuning in, please be good to each other out there, and as always, please take care. Bye!